And that's it. And then we just have a nice, casual conversation. Sarah.
Casual. Super casual. This is super casual.
Sarah, you were telling me about your 90s inspired outfit.
Yes, so
I wanted to do that.
As I watched the film, I was paying attention to the costumes, and I was like, what articles of clothing do I have that kind of resembles this? And so there were lots of mesh.
Mm-hmm. Yes, lots of mesh,
lots of plaid.
Yeah.
Oh, so much plaid.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, in the 90s, there was lots of brown lipstick, so I'm wearing brown lipstick.
Oh my God. You know, I kind of love brown lipstick. The thing is, it's not that hard to wear a 90s inspired outfit right now because the 90s are back.
I feel like everything is back. I feel like everything is kind of like 70s, 80s,
crop
90s,
tops,
60s.
bell bottoms.
Oh,
everything.
I didn't do this on purpose. I'm just reliving the 90s because it's back as per Target. So I've got my like sort of flower patterned crop top and like high-waisted, wide-legged green pants.
Nice. I would have worn pants had I known we were theming it, though.
Oh, we weren't.
No.
We just, I don't know why, but Sarah, like, I think we're still on a kick from October where we were wearing like themed, costumey kind of outfits for
also,
October.
I have like an entire rack of like clothing over there for like
and also
stuff.
behind you.
And behind me.
Yeah.
And there's a closet in my room that has clothes.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's a problem.
So, welcome to the Feminine Mistake podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole.
I'm your other host, Sarah.
And today on the show, we are very fortunate to have as our special guest, actor, audition coach, creative collaborator, Vanessa Aranegui. Thank you, Vanessa, for being on the show.
Thank you. This is awesome.
Vanessa's never been a guest, right?
No.
It's fucking crazy.
It's
like
weird.
We've known Vanessa for a very long time. We've worked with her on a bunch of stuff. She's
Lots
been in
of
like
live shows and films
and like a bunch of the shorts as well. She's worked on almost everything that we've done with Critical Crop Top, and yet this is her grand debut on this podcast.
Thanks. I'm glad. I was starting to think you guys hated me so much.
No, we were just like, what is the perfect film? And I guess we decided it was a 90s film that is basically just an advertisement for the 90s.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, so this month's film, which by the way, this will be coming out in November. So this is our November film, is Clueless, 1995's Clueless. But before we get into that, oh, Sarah, you had something. No? Or was that a sneeze that sounded like the word clueless?
That was not a sneeze. I actually said the word clueless and then I sniffed, but it was not a sneeze.
So before we get into talking about that, let's talk about what we've been watching. Vanessa, is there anything you've been watching during these COVID times or recently that you would like to recommend?
Oh, I don't know about recommending. I've watched a lot of things in the background.
Or not recommend even.
Yeah.
Warn people about.
Oh, you know, I was up with Lovecraft.
Lovecraft Country.
Yes. Which was freaking amazing.
Yes. Which is now all done, right? So you can go and watch the whole thing.
I just saw the finale. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was amazing. And then I finally watched the first episode of The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Ooh, that is on my list.
The first 4 episodes, but
you didn't like it?
It's nowhere near as good. It's like
that makes
characters.
Me sad.
Like I don't care about the characters, and it's like not scary and like.
Yeah, you see, I'm a chicken shit, so like.
No, if you saw The Haunting of Hill House, like
that was terrifying.
Terrifying.
Yes.
Bly Manor on a scale of like 1 to 10 crumbling mansions in terms of scary is like a 3 or a 4.
Yeah, so it's which is still something I have to watch with a person.
So it's not a decrepit, falling apart manor. It's like a manor that maybe just needs a new backsplash.
Well,
I'm trying to put this in the language of HGTV, which I know you've also been watching a lot.
No,
Sarah.
it's the same. It's the same quality of mansion. It's just the scariness.
Yeah, I know. I was using that metaphor.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
no, but it's upkept. It's not all run down and stuff like the.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not as scary, and it's generally not as
emotionally deep or profound.
Which is, I've heard a lot of people who had watched the whole thing and they were like, my heart is, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I saw on Twitter. People were really deeply
I'm like,
invested.
if I don't care about these characters by episode 4, like that's not a good sign.
Can you stop watching a show midway, or do you have to finish? Because I have to finish.
I can stop.
Vanessa, I am the queen of watching like the first 1 or 2 episodes.
No.
And even if I like it, I'm like, I got to get back to this, but I'm going to start this. Like Chris and I recently just started watching Cobra Kai, which I know is fucking stupid.
That was great. I watched it.
Because not only is it a fun show, and not only is The Karate Kid like a super big movie from my childhood, but also we know so many people who work on that show, like actors and like crew people and stuff. And it's like, I don't know why, but we just got to it. And we watched the first 2 episodes and we're like, this is fucking great. And then crickets. It's like it's not that I don't want to watch it. I just like, it's like I got distracted by other stuff.
And we still have not finished the 2nd season of Barry.
We haven't finished Barry. I haven't finished Mindhunter.
Pen 15.
Pen 15. I am backlogged. I am so fucking backlogged right now.
No, I'm like, if someone's like, you have to start this show, I'm like, I can't, because it's literally, it'll play while I get dressed in the morning, like while I'm working on my computer. I have to get all the way through.
I am like the fuckboy of starting new television shows. Like that is my identity. I will start anything. I will watch the first episode of anything. You know it's good. Like, not that Cobra Kai isn't good and not that Mindhunter are good. Those are all very good shows. But you know that it's got its claws in me when I don't bounce to another show.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, like, if it doesn't have its claws in me by episode 4, then I just give up. Like, I tried that with
That's exactly my number 2.
Party?
4. That's the magic number, is 4 episodes.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of Search
Yes.
Party?
I watched the first episode. Very much enjoyed it. Plan to get back to it eventually.
I watched the first 4 episodes and I didn't care about the characters. And I was like, I don't, like, there's no plot. I don't know.
I will torture myself through the whole thing until it's finished.
That's admirable. That is
It's not. It's a waste of time is what it is.
Okay. But you're like, seeing it through.
Are you like Cartman, who, like, when you start that song that he has to finish that song?
Are you talking about the Journey song?
Yeah. Sailing away. Yeah. And then he has to finish the song. That. Is that like you, Vanessa, with films and TV shows and stuff?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. If it's something I've started and it's like, I don't care. It's horrible. It's awful. I want to. The only thing I can stop is if it's, because I get super crazy motion sickness. If it's like one of those hand cam. Yeah.
So basically,
things,
anything from the anything from the early 2000s, you can't watch.
Nope. I missed the whole
that stuff. Yeah,
I've noticed
the whole thing of films because of that.
Oh yeah, when I've gone back and I started rewatching a couple of things. I'm not currently watching. I just like bounced around a couple episodes again. But I was like, I'm going to watch Fringe again, or I'm going to watch Lost again. And I was watching some of that and I was like, damn, shaky camera was like, it was like a whole look in the early 2000s. It's like handheld, I felt
personally attacked,
intensely handheld footage. And I just
intensely handheld,
like very,
it's the worst.
And I didn't even like realize it at the time. Like I didn't realize how, until honestly, I was watching Lost with my daughter and she was like, why is the camera shaking so much? Do the people making the show not know how to hold a camera? And I was like, damn.
Oh my god.
That is a burn from a 10-year-old right there.
Burn. Wow, yeah. Charlotte.
She's going to be like the Roger Ebert of her time.
I love her.
She should start.
So now I kind of wish I had looked up what Roger Ebert said about this film, but shall we talk about Clueless? Let us shall. So before we get into the movie itself, I would like to go around and see from each person, what was your experience with this movie prior to having to watch it for the show? Let's start with our special guest, Vanessa.
Me? I know. I mean, I must have seen it like in the 90s when it came out, and then
how old were you?
We used to in 95. I was 14.
Okay. Oh, we were about the same age, yeah.
Yeah, I was born in 81. Yeah. But my age range is very wide. Don't judge me.
She looks very young.
All those casting agents listening to this.
No!
My age range, in 1995, I was a fetus, if anyone asks.
No, but, and then you would watch it pre-streaming whenever it would come on cable 100 times. But like, that was it. I don't recall ever watching it again after high school-ish times.
I feel you on that. Okay, so saw when it came out, hadn't really watched it again until now. So interesting. It'll be interesting to hear what your perspective on it as an adult woman is. Sarah, what about you?
So I saw this when this came out, and I was 7. And
wow, you guys are young.
Well, no, are you talking to you guys? Wait till you hear how old I was when this movie came out. I'm old enough to know what Contempo Casual is because I shopped there. Okay, Sarah, please continue.
So yeah, I was 7 and I saw it and I thought it was very fun. I completely understood most of it for some reason.
It's not terribly complex.
I know. Well, I'm just saying there are some little things that I noticed this time that I didn't before. But yeah, I think I saw it a few times as a kid and then a few times in high school, and then I don't think I've seen it since. So this was the first time I'd seen it since then.
Wow. Okay. So it's been a long time for everybody. I too saw this movie in high school. It says 95, so I'm going to say I was probably a sophomore in high school, possibly a junior. I guess it depends on when in 95 it came out. I want to say I was a sophomore because I feel like this was before I started really hanging out with the theater kids. I think I went to see this with my pre-theater kid friends.
The faces of theater people.
Yes. We hung out by the elevator, the whole thing. All right. But so I was, like 15 or so when this came out. I remember going to see it in the movie theater. I don't remember much about it. I don't know who went with me. So if you went with me and it's not you, it's this movie just was not that memorable for me. And then honestly, I don't think I have watched this movie since I saw it in the movie theater in 1995.
I think I might have seen this movie more than both of you then, because I definitely have seen this movie a bunch.
It wasn't like here's how I felt when I watched it at the age of 15. I was like, okay, that was entertaining, and then I promptly forgot about it. That was, I think, the general vibe that I felt after watching this film, and I can't say that my opinion of it has changed very much. So
it didn't hold as well as, like, say, a Legally Blonde.
I haven't seen that at all. I know we should do it on the show. I haven't seen it. I've never seen it.
Oh my god.
Although Reese Witherspoon did audition for the part of Cher.
Really?
In this movie. Yes, she was up for the part of Cher, as was Angelina Jolie, or she was up for something in this movie. Although I don't think she would have made a good Cher. Wait, there was somebody who was going to be Amber and couldn't get... Oh, Sarah Michelle Gellar had been cast as Amber, but couldn't get away from her soap schedule. Anyway, this was all stuff I was
reading. Must be tough.
Yeah, I know it's hard.
90s actresses.
Diamond shoes are too tight.
Working all the time.
Cruel Intentions. Now that's a movie that I really liked. All right. That's our experience with this film prior to the podcast. So let's get into talking about this movie.
The house is a mess, Jack. The kids are a mess, Jack. You're a mess, Jack.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York.
You seem sort of distant.
Let's just do it, huh?
You look stupid and rich. Stupid and rich.
Fascist.
All right, let's get into it.
Clueless, 1995, written and directed by Amy Heckling. This is actually not our first Amy Heckling movie that we've done on the show. Sarah, do you remember the other one that we did on the show?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
We did Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which I think in watching this now, I see a lot of comparisons to the style.
Yes.
Like I feel like Fast Times at Ridgemont High was like this very complexly flavored meal. And that this film was like one of those. You remember in the 90s they had those candies that it was like 3 packets of sugar and like a sugar stick, and you would
Fun Dip?
Fun Dip. This was like the Fun Dip in comparison to like the complexly flavored, subtle for your palate, movie of Fast Times. And then this was
had some cute stuff that was some surprisingly cute moments that I hadn't seen before.
Well, let's get into it. let's just dive right in. Sarah, what do you have on your list that you'd like to start with first?
Wow, I couldn't even make a list of 5 things. I just kind of like wrote 10. Down a bunch of stuff.
I have 10 things. I have 11 things actually, but we probably won't get through all of them because you and I usually double up.
So I guess the first thing I would like to bring up is that this is based on a Jane Austen novel called Emma. And I actually watched the 96 version of Emma after this.
You did? Oh, please do. Because I briefly read a Wikipedia article, mainly to find out if the original Emma had Emma hooking up with her stepbrother at the end of the movie. But we'll get to that later. So Sarah, any observations in because I don't know if you know this, but this movie came about because the studio asked Amy Heckling to write a movie about teenagers. I guess they were like, let's go to she made Fast Times. That was good. Let's get her to do another one. And so she really loved the book Emma. And so she decided to write something inspired by that. It's not a fully, what is the word I'm looking for?
Like adapted.
It's not adapted. It's not like sticking to it, but it's
loosely based.
It's not loyal. Yeah, it's loosely based.
Yeah.
All right. So Sarah, any observations you had about these 2 films or these 2 stories?
Yeah, so the stories are basically the same. There are some different characters. Like there's a whole subplot in Emma where she has there's a woman who everyone kind of makes fun of, and she tries she doesn't want to set her up. So basically, Emma is a matchmaker, but like that she's like a self-described, like she doesn't have that job. She just likes to set up.
So do people come to her looking to matchmake? No. Okay. No. So she's just a fucking meddler.
Like Cher.
She's a meddler. Yes. Like Cher's a meddler. Okay.
Yes. So there's this one woman who like isn't popular and everyone kind of makes fun of her, and Emma, instead of trying to help her, makes fun of her and like embarrasses her, and
that's awful.
Kind of sad. It's awful. Yeah. So that's not in this film.
But I feel like that's how she treats the skateboard guy.
It is how she treats the skateboard guy. Whose
name is, I would like to point out, his name is Travis Birkenstock.
Birkenstock. I missed that last name.
Birkenstock is that guy's name.
Nice.
Played by permanent 90s skater boy Breckenmeyer.
But of course, like within the film Emma, the way she takes this woman down is so like visceral and heartless, and just really like, I mean, the way Cher deals with Travis is like, that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's like, who cares? Like, but that part in Emma. But there is a part. There is the character of Ty in Emma. There's also the character of Mr. Elton, who is Elton, and Mr. Knightley is Josh.
Yes. Okay. All right. So they do. Yeah. So there's some crossover there. I don't think there's that older couple, like the teachers. There's an exact comparison to them. Maybe
not an exact. There actually is a couple. The film begins with that she had already set them up.
Oh, okay.
That they're about that age, and she's at their wedding at the top of the film.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that movie begins with a wedding. Does it end with a wedding as well, like this one does? Okay, so it's like bookended by a wedding.
Yeah.
All right. Any other things to compare about those 2 things?
I mean, the things might come up, but for the time being,
kind of the basics. All right, good. Well, thank you for that, because I have not seen those. Again, haven't seen Emma.
I loved Emma as a kid. Like I love
the Gwyneth Paltrow Emma.
Yes. I love romance, and even from a very young age, I really loved the way that the 2 characters got together at the end, and it was like, I didn't expect it because I was like,
well, there's 8. A new one as well, right?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay. All right. Well, the first thing I have on my list is that this movie is aggressively 90s. Like, like it's like the clothes, the mention of contempo casual. I was like, I can't believe they just name dropped contempo casual. All of the scenes in the mall, I was like, this was exactly my life in high school. There's like I have to say, one of the things this movie does well is the little, and I think Amy Heckling is really great at this, the little jokes in the background where you look in the background and people have like Biore strips on their nose. Yeah. And like, it's just like, it's almost, but I hate to compare it to Fast Times, but I can't avoid it. I feel like Fast Times worked in the culture of the time period in an organic way, and this one was like shoving it in my face constantly. Like it was very like, how many more 90s jokes can I cram into here?
It was like a bet.
It was like somebody made a bet, like how many 90s jokes or how many 90s references can I cram into here?
And I couldn't figure out if that was them pushing it in our face or if films back then were just very aggressively 90s because they were in the 90s.
No, I think it was intentional. It felt intentional. It felt very.
I thought they did it almost to mock.
Yes, I think it was meant to mock, but there was something about it that felt. I was very amused by it.
How can you mock the time period that you're in?
That's what's hard about it.
The Beverly Hills people of the 90s.
Like how would someone mock today?
Oh, just the sadness, the sadness and crushing depression. Yeah. The fascism. I don't know. Take your pick.
Yeah, sure. That's true. The
it would be very dark. It would be an Ionesco kind of mocking, I think. Yeah. It wouldn't be as
the reference that caught me off guard was the Starbucks cups.
There was like Snickers and Hertz and Starbucks and
there were tons.
There were like some things that she said too. Like I was like,
or where she said somebody's a Baldwin. That kind of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, it was just like, I mean, the soundtrack is great. The soundtrack I thought was pretty bitchin'.
No doubt. Yeah. I mean,
no
doubt. Not, but also like no doubt.
Also the lighting, everything. I mean, we've watched several 90s films on the show, and it's like the 90s has a very particular look of film lighting, which is somewhere between realism and the very forced constructed lighting of like the 1940s. Like it's very there's a lot of angelic hair light that doesn't seem to be motivated by any particular source. Anyway, I think one of the things that amused me most was how 90s it was, but also I felt like it was really pushing it in my face in a way that I don't know was as deftly handled as say Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, and Fast Times was made in 83, I think, right?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there?
It was early 80s, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think that's reflective of the time. Like, I think Fast Times was coming off of the 70s where you had filmmaking was a very serious business. And I think the 90s was this crazy cuckoo, like America was rolling in its own riches and people were just throwing money at all kinds of things. And it's not like there was no poverty or sickness. There was certainly all of that. But like, it was like, don't look at that. Look at this flashy, mini dress over here, and let's go get our belly buttons pierced. And so it was just a very frivolous
belly buttons
time.
Do you have a belly button piercing, Nicole?
I didn't get a belly button piercing. I was not allowed to get one. By the time I was old enough to get my belly button pierced, it wasn't cool anymore, so I didn't do it.
Okay. That's interesting because I have a friend who got her belly button pierced when she was 16, and she's definitely not older, younger than you. So I think even in like 2006, it was still like
yeah. Cool, I had multiple ear piercings, although my ears get infected very easily, so I can't. I can't put earrings in my ears. So like the minute I put them in there, they begin to burn and pus over.
Lovely. That's
I had a nose ring but in my belly button. Huh? You had nose rings?
I had a one nose ring for 2 years.
Oh, that's hot.
I
always wanted a eyebrow piercing. That's what I really wanted.
My cousin had one.
But then someone told me that if they do it wrong, your whole side of your face will go numb. And I don't know if somebody just said that to like make me not do it because they were trying to manipulate me, or if that's a true thing. But then I was like, well, shit, I don't want half of my face.
I almost got my lip. I almost got a lip. Yeah.
Ooh, I think you'd look amazing in a lip piercing.
Oh, thanks.
You still could, Sarah.
No, I'm done with the piercing stage of my life.
All right, Sarah, what do you got next on your list?
Okay. So again, I just wrote down like way too much stuff, but I'll just pick a few. So it starts off with all these shots, of like the 90s, but then we see
all her and her friends, and they're like, it was Kids in America that was playing.
Yes. Yeah, like a music video almost.
It was very music video.
So the app, do you call it an app? I don't know. Back then, what would you call it? Where she picked out her clothes, like
I wanted it so bad. Oh my god, so bad. When I saw that in the movie theater, I was like, I want that. Like I still want it now.
I still want it. Yeah, and I could seriously you use it with the clothes I have.
I think you could. Somebody needs to get on.
Someone designed this for me.
Somebody surely must have designed that by now. You would think.
Sure.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome.
So that was just small. And then I guess could we introduce the characters?
Oh, absolutely. Let's.
Like who the characters are. So there's Cher,
played by Alicia Silverstone.
Mm-hmm. There's Dion.
Yep.
Her BFF.
Played by Stacey Dash.
Murray.
Donald Faison. Yeah, from Scrubs. Didn't remember
I loved him on Scrubs.
Didn't remember him being in this movie, and then I was like,
Josh, who is Cher's brother. Step.
I know. Step brother either. They weren't like still step technically.
Yeah, and they didn't. They hadn't lived together.
I'll reserve my feelings about that until we get to the end. But ew, that's all I'll say about that. Paul Rudd looking like. Okay, Paul Rudd. First of all, who must be immortal.
Yeah,
he's immortal
because he looks very young even still. But first of all, this is his second movie role. His first movie role was in Halloween Part 6.
Wow.
And this movie actually came out because that movie was plagued by so many problems in the edit that movie actually got released second. So this movie was released first, and then that movie was released second, though he shot Halloween 6
his film debut.
This was to the public his film debut, yes.
Wow.
I found him I think it's really interesting to see someone like Paul Rudd and his early career here and then where he is now. I feel like he was like not Paul Rudd in this movie. Like he seemed like he was trying to fit into some kind of leading man box, but that he hadn't really relaxed into what makes him charming. And so that was kind of weird. And
he wasn't fully Paul Rudd. Yeah, no, but he was still like, adorable.
Yes, he was adorable, but he was like, I would say it was like a 75% Paul Rudd, maybe.
I remember when
he was still loading.
He was still loading. He hadn't finished loading yet.
By the time I saw Friends, and he was a recurring character on Friends, so by the time I saw Friends in high school, I had forgotten that I had already seen him as a child in Clueless. And so, like, yeah, I think I discovered that Paul Rudd was in Clueless, like, after high school.
So Paul Rudd, charming, plays her stepbrother. Their parents are not married anymore, but dad still spends time with him because he says you don't divorce your son.
I thought that was sweet.
It is sweet, and I'd love to know what I'd love to know what their dad thinks about their relationship, but we don't get that information, do we? At the end of the movie. Yeah. But anyway,
he doesn't seem very involved.
Yeah, but anyway, so Paul Rudd is her stepbrother. Ew. But we'll continue. We'll get back to that. And then we have who else? Well, there's Ty,
Brittany Murphy,
who is just spectacular. I just love her in this movie. Like she's so funny and charming, and I found myself just really missing her.
I just felt so sorry for her. Like her character just seems so pathetic.
Really? That's funny that you think that. I actually found her to be the opposite. I found her to be the most real and sure of herself character of all of them until Cher starts meddling with her. And then at the end, it felt like she kind of got back to herself a little bit. In the middle there, she kind of lost herself in whatever mold that Cher was trying to create of her. But I felt like when she arrived, she was just like, I'm here and I'm pretty cool with myself already. And I liked that about her. And I actually felt like Cher's meddling hampered that a bit.
Yeah, no, Cher shouldn't have meddled with her for sure. Like she should have started off with Travis, like she had wanted to. I don't know. I just didn't like her character.
You didn't like Brittany Murphy's character. I liked her. I would have. I found her to be relatable. She seemed, I thought she was adorable and relatable.
And she was like authentically awkward, and it was like she felt out of sorts, but not an actor out of sorts.
I think Brittany Murphy did a great job with the character. I'm just saying, like, it's not that I didn't like Brittany Murphy; it's that I just didn't like the character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she kind of just went along with whatever Cher told her to do, and kind of let herself be.
Isn't that high school? Isn't that high school? It's
right.
Like the popular girl takes an interest in you as a project. You're just going to let her just shape you in her image, I guess. I don't know. That was never something I had to worry about, so I don't know how I would have reacted in that situation.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's an authenticity to the idea that we all aren't fully aware of who we are and so letting someone take us and mold us and showing us that we can look really cute in these clothes that maybe we wouldn't have worn before. There is some of that I mean, it's very true. I mean, even as an adult, sometimes I'll still be like, oh, you want me to wear this? I do look cute. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I think that people take on this sort of hive persona, like as you go from social group to social group, like you kind of take on the mannerisms and catchphrases and maybe even like the interests of people around you. And so that is something that occurs naturally. But I think it's heightened in high school where you feel like you have to put on this costume of whatever group you're in. And I do think this movie does a good job of showing that each group in the school has a costume and that people get put in these boxes. And it's not a movie where all the boxes coexist peacefully with each other, which I feel is pretty true, at least in my experience, to what high school life was. Like everybody in the lunchroom had a specific place that they sat. Everybody in the morning there was like this open sort of lobby area where all this kids would hang out before school started, and all the groups had their own place that they hung out in, and you didn't mix unless you were one of those that bounced between groups, and there were a couple people like that. And it's like the seniors had a special spot, and if you were a freshman, you didn't even get into the atrium at all. Like you had to stand somewhere outside on the periphery, unless you got in with one of the, like, if you had a brother or a sister in the theater kids who hung out by the elevator, then you could go hang out by the elevator because your brother was over there. Anyway, it was like this whole fucking weird territorial ants in an anthill kind of situation. And I do think the movie did a really good job of showing that.
Yeah.
Well, and not only with the kids, though, the adults, too, which I thought was interesting because it's like, we don't really change. I mean, I've come to the point where it's like, oh, we don't change much. Like, that's really disappointing.
And as adults, we're not.
Walk onto a set. It's the same thing at lunchtime. All the grips sit together. Talent sits together. Like it's, unless you're on one of our sets where I think it's a little bit more like, we're all friends. But if you go to a big set, like everybody sits in their own little boxes. Yep. You were gonna say, Sarah?
I forget. I don't think I was going to say anything important.
It has lost a time.
As if. Whatever.
I know. Like, I do that part where the boy comes up to her and she shoves his face away.
Yes.
That was pretty good.
That was great.
I would like to talk about Cher's relationship with her dad.
Okay.
So mom died when she was a baby from a tragic liposuction accident.
Oh, I missed the liposuction part of it.
And so Cher seems to have taken on the role of his wife.
Maybe, yeah.
She makes him.
She takes care of.
She takes care of him.
Well, I think that if you you need to take care of someone, you take care of them. Like if my mom died and my dad needed someone to help him, like I would help him.
Sure. I just have a big problem with a grown man referring to him, like a grown man referring to his almost grown daughter, like he refers to himself as daddy. I don't like it. Their relationship.
He referred to himself as daddy?
Yes, they were talking about something and he referred to himself as daddy. Like she called him daddy throughout.
Yeah.
Which again, I mean, even my 10-year-old calls Chris dad. Like she even I don't think my kids have called him daddy since they were toddlers.
I still call my dad dad. God, I can't say it. Daddy.
No, that's okay. But does your dad then in turn say,
Daddy loves you?
Daddy would like some more coffee, Sarah. Can you get daddy some more coffee?
No.
Right? It's icky.
Yeah, that's gross.
It's look, and I don't want to kink shame, okay? Because if there's somebody out there who likes to call your man daddy, fucking do it. But like daddies and actual daddies and daughters, if you're a grown man referring to yourself to your almost adult daughter as daddy, I'm upset. And I found myself a little upset about their relationship. Like I was just like, I was a little creeped out. Like it seemed like he was relying on her too much as like a replacement for his wife. I'm not implying that there was anything sexual going on. Don't mistake me there. But just like the way they talked to each, I don't know. It was weird. It was weird and it creeps me out. That's what I'll say.
I didn't think I think it seemed, I don't know if maybe because of I'm a type A and the oldest child of 4 that it seemed like that's kind of how I feel like it would go.
Okay.
Like,
maybe that's
like,
maybe
it's just
I
like,
just don't
all
get
right.
it.
Yeah, it didn't creep me out. No. I wouldn't say it did.
I need to be taken. I feel like as the child, I am the one who gets taken care of. I'm not like
Yes. I don't think it's the most healthy way for a child to go be raised, but she seemed pretty self-reliant and all that stuff. And I think, I don't know. I wasn't particularly creeped out that she took on that protective role.
Yeah. I think that she liked it.
Yeah, she did. She did. Well, I mean, she had a caretaker role amongst all of her friends as well, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And that was I think that played into the matchmaker thing. It was just something about their relation. I don't know if it was the chemistry between the actors, but there was something about it that just I didn't like. Also, can you guys answer for me? Why are teenagers helping with this multi-million-dollar lawsuit?
No idea.
Is that even legally?
If interns, right? I mean,
are they like why? Like at the end when that guy's yelling at them and he's like, "You guys fucked this up," and I'm like, she's like 16. Like, is it even legal for her to be reading these briefs? I don't understand. Why is Josh even there? Like, they never once said that he was going to school to be a lawyer. All we got was
yes, they did.
They did.
He wants to be an environmental lawyer.
Environmental law.
Okay, all right. Well, that at least makes a little bit more sense. But then why is Cher helping out with the legal cases on? I just don't get it. I'm confused.
Yeah, that was confusing for sure.
All right, I just had to get that off my chest because I know.
Please.
And at the end, I watched this movie with my husband Chris, who has never listened to this podcast in the 4 years.
I think you could make like a montage of every time you said that.
My husband Chris, who's never listened to this podcast in the 4 years that we've been doing it and never will, watched this movie with us or with me. And at the end, the only thing he had to say was, "What about the multi-million-dollar law case? That seemed so weird at the time. What happened? Did they get the briefs back in order?"
It was a device.
I know. Oh God! All right, Sarah, what do you got on your list?
So I just like this line. This is not something we need to discuss. I'm just gonna say the line because I find it fun.
Hit me with it.
So grades were being passed out in this class, and Travis went to climb up to the window, and Mr. Hall was like, could the suicide attempts please be postponed to the next period?
There were some really good lines in this movie. Like Amy Heckling is a good writer. Her writing is very snappy. I know I'm like ragging on this movie a bit. It's still a very well made film. I don't love it as much as Fast Times, but the writing is still quite good.
Which movie do you like more, this one or Fast Times?
I don't know if it's clear.
It hasn't been clear.
I think it's very clear.
I would like to throw out a line as well. There's a line at the beginning of the movie where she says, high school boys are like dogs.
Mm-hmm.
She says you have to care for them, you have to feed them, you have to wash them, and it's just not worth it. So what do you guys think of that?
Agree with that, Nicole?
I don't think it extends to just high school boys.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would say.
I think boys and men in general. Is there a kitty?
Yes.
Oh, the kitty wants to be on the show.
Let's see the
How
kitty.
did you get in here?
Oh my gosh, so cute.
She's a little... Here you
Oh,
go.
hi, sweetie.
Hi,
what do you think about Clueless?
Did you watch it?
She slept. She slept through it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That is,
you stop being a little brat.
Beautiful.
She's so fuzzy.
Kitty.
Yeah, I'm not used to pretty animals. I usually like junkyard looking animals, so it was weird. It was weird getting her. It's like, you're too pretty.
Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm competing with you.
You get one chance. If you meow, you're out.
All right, so moving on. Let's see. I would.
Oh wait, sorry.
Yeah,
the different lines.
Yes, please, yes.
I didn't write it down, so I may not quote exactly. But when she talks about how she hasn't had sex, and she was like, "You know how picky I am about shoes."
Oh my
and
God.
they just go on my feet.
Yeah.
That's the exact line. I wrote that one down too. That was a really great line as well. You know.
Also, Boink Fest.
Yes.
Chin pubes.
Can we bring back Boink Fest?
Can we talk about Paul Rudd's chin pubes and how they were only in one scene? Like, why did he have a goatee, but just in that one scene?
Yeah,
like that was certainly a blast.
Well, because she called it chin pubes, and I think he was like, I'm gonna get rid of this.
Okay, well, thank God. You know, Chris, my husband, who's never listened to this podcast, Chris had that very goatee look. Yes, he had that, and it wasn't even the 90s. This was like early 2000s. I'd say he had that look for maybe 5 years.
But his didn't look like chin pubes. It just looked like a goatee.
Yeah.
Like Paul Rudd's.
His didn't look like chin pubes.
You're right.
I didn't care for it. I don't care for goatees. I don't think we need to bring that facial hair back.
I think that's good. I think we've done it.
That in the past.
Mustaches, goatees. No, thank you.
I like a mustache.
No.
I don't like a mustache.
No,
I mean, it
reminds me of like.
But I also like a mustache on the. Have you seen Adam Driver with a mustache though? You don't like it?
I don't like mustaches.
Like okay.
There's
I don't like
no
Adam
one
Driver.
that looks good in a mustache except for Dacre Montgomery.
Oh my God, Dacre Montgomery and a mustache. Hold me back.
I need to find this.
And the mullet.
Hold me back and strap me down. Dacre Montgomery is the only man that should ever wear a mustache.
Or a mullet.
Because mustaches ended with him. Like they just ended with him. All right, that's not what the show's about. Okay. Yeah. Moving on. Gosh, what should we talk about next? I do want to ask this question. Is Cher a good friend? Is she a good friend? You don't think so?
I would not want to be friends with her.
Okay. State your case.
Okay. So she gets like I'm okay with someone being in my business, but I feel like she has poor judgment.
As
and
most
so
teenagers do.
she does not listen to what someone needs, what they personally need. She listens to what she needs, what she wants, her idea of how that thing should be, and it just ends up being selfish. But she admits it by the end, and she does improve. But throughout the film, I did feel like I would not want her in my life.
Fair. Vanessa.
I probably wouldn't be friends with her, but I do think she, just like any of us, had good and bad moments. I thought she did meddle a lot, but I think in the end, when push came to shove, she kind of ended being more supportive than I don't recall her being too judgy in the movie all the time.
Travis.
I mean, there were moments with Travis. But she kind of redeemed, like she kind of realized, well, after he started the 12-step program
for weed. Okay.
For well, who knows what else he was on.
Yeah, it's true.
And the whole Elton thing too.
Let's put a pin in that. I do want to get to Elton because I have some thoughts about that.
I think her intentions were good, which isn't necessarily an excuse, but overall, I think it seems like she would grow into a better friend.
She would grow into a better friend.
She had the potential of good friend.
Yes. I would not want to be her friend in high school, but maybe in like 10 years, I could talk to her.
I'd argue that for a high school girl, she was a pretty good friend. Yes, she was a meddler. That was definitely. Yeah. But like, if you look at her relationship with Dion had this stupid, bumbling boyfriend who just couldn't get his shit together and never once did Cher try to get in between them or judge her for going back to him. She just kind of let it play out and found ways to appreciate the things that were good about them together. She just kind of let Dion make her own choices, and I think she would have been there to be supportive if Dion needed her. She was, as far as her relationship with Ty, I think that popular girls are like, there wasn't all this mean girl competition in this movie that there is in a lot of other movies about teenage girls. And so she didn't even take a second to think about whether or not she wanted to talk to the new girl who everybody else was making fun of. She just like welcomed her into the group. Yes, she kind of made her a project and kind of tried to make her like her. But then as Ty eventually kind of evened out, and even when she got jealous of Ty, she didn't really take that out on her. Mm-hmm. Which I think you could see that in a different movie. That's where true. She's going to take that out on her. She didn't. They did have an argument, but it also ended with Ty saying something really cruel to her.
Yeah.
Which he was very honest about, saying like, that really hurts me. And then they made up. Honestly, I think Cher's a pretty, like, for a teenage girl who's pretty vapid, she's a pretty good friend, I'd say.
Well, and with Ty, like, Ty was obviously super awkward and, getting hit in the face with shoes and, whatever. Mm-hmm. She never, like, distanced herself from
she never
Ty's embarrassment. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't know her.
In her place generally, mm-hmm. as a popular girl, I guess. She was never really threatened.
Yeah.
Her and Amber were pretty awful to each other, but
yeah.
Right.
And I do think that even though she was trying to manipulate those older folks are not treated very nicely in this movie. I bet those people are very close to my age. Would she say that her debate teacher was like 47 or 48? And I'm like, that's like 8 years older than me. Like, yeah. I am closer in age to him than I am to her. Yeah. But she seemed genuinely happy to see them, make a love connection. So I don't know. I'd say that while some of her ideas were misguided, ultimately I think she treated people with kindness. Welcome to Plug It Up. This is the part of the show where we talk about all the fun things that we're doing and all the fun things that our guests are doing. Let's start with Vanessa. Vanessa, what would you like to plug?
Well, I believe we're recording Critical Crop Top sketch comedies, the one I'm in.
We are
coming up.
We are.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
And then on a personal level, I'm just completely redoing all my website and social media stuff.
Nice.
So hopefully, maybe not by the time this airs, but very shortly after. So Vanessa Aranegui, which is going to be all my acting, assistant directing, voiceover type stuff, is going to be up.
Nice.
And then also my new company that I created earlier this year, right before COVID. Perfect timing.
We'll be getting back to it.
Cracked Halo Creative. And that's where I'm going to be kind of focusing on my acting coaching stuff, my creative project management things, which I actually just did a photo shoot series,
which is very cool. Is there a hashtag or something awesome. People can find that on Instagram? Because those photos were very awesome.
They were so cool. Well, the photographer's website is Electric Boudoir.
Mm-hmm.
So you can check that out on Instagram. And then, I'm just building that up, doing a little bit of studio rental stuff. So
I love
putting all that together. So my websites and all that should be up to date very soon, if not already by the time this airs.
And where can we follow your creative consulting business? I'm sorry if I missed that.
It's going to be under Cracktalo Creative.
Great.
So everything's going to be
is it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the things?
It'll be on all the things.
Excellent.
And I might even actually use the Twitter accounts soon.
I know it can be hard. Twitter. It's hard to bounce around. I don't know. I've been on Twitter a lot during the pandemic. I found a sudden interest in Twitter. Now I'm on there all the time. Okay, thank you, Vanessa. Very exciting.
Thank you.
So check all that stuff out. I would like to plug. Let's talk about that web show that Vanessa's going to be in with us. The Critical Crop Top Sketch Comedy web show. We're shooting it now. We're shooting it virtually. All virtual, all over Zoom, and brand new sketches. Those are going to be released on our YouTube channel. So, of course, Critical Crop Top is the production company that produces this podcast, as well as, films and sketch shows and things like that. So you can find Critical Crop Top Sketch Comedy Web Show on our YouTube channel, which is just Critical Crop Top, or on the social medias at Critical Crop Top on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're also releasing our old sketches from the live shows, which Vanessa is in many of those as well, and has also written some of those. So go check those out. I think Welcome to 30 is already on the YouTube channel, so you could go check that out, which was written by Vanessa. And I'd also like to plug our other podcast, the Adam and Andy podcast, where Sarah and I only watch Adam Driver and Andy Samberg. And we just watched The Dead Don't Die, which by the time this show comes out will already be out. So you can check that out on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, all the same places you can get this show. And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Adam and Andy Podcast, or on Twitter at Adam Andy Pod. Also, we'd like to hear what you think about Clueless. What were your favorite lines? What do you think about brother-sister relationships?
What's your take on incest?
What's your take on incest by marriage? So please reach out to us, tweet at us, tell us what you think. You can find our show, The Feminine Mistake Podcast, on Facebook and Instagram at Feminine Mistake Pod, and on Twitter at Femmistake Pod. And those are the things, and the places, and the things.
Nicola's such a pro at throwing all those. I'm tossing
out the handles. I'm tossing out the handles. All right. Well, Vanessa, it has been lovely to have you on the show to talk about Clueless.
Thank you. It's been fun.
This is just but one part of a 2-part discussion. So be sure to come back and for the second part 2, the exciting conclusion to Clueless. I'm going to go put on some Biore strips. I don't know about you ladies, but I'm going to go put on some Biore strips.
They weren't Biore. They were the nose job bandages.
Oh, is that what that was? I thought they were Biore strips. I was like, how 90s is that?
Nose job bandages, yes.
Well, still very there was one chick 90s. That had bandages on her chin, too.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't be getting plastic surgery between now and the next show, but I will be I will be eating some Mentos and wearing my high-waisted corduroy jeans, and you'll hear us next week. No, you won't. You'll hear us in 2 weeks.
You'll hear us when you hear us.
Don't call us, we'll call you. And so come back and join us then.
Rolling with the homies.